Okay, girls. So today, what you need to do is start to use your 2-point perspective drawing skills to sketch out some designs for your animal habitat project. So, how can we do this? So, first thing to do is to remember that we can sketch to begin with in 2D. So, I'm just going to do a really simple birdhouse design to show you. So, start with a box. And I'm going to make this the front view. And what I want to do is just create a really simple birdhouse design with a sloped roof like this. It's a bit off. So this is what I see most people do when they draw a birdhouse. And it's got like normally has like a little sort of circle in the front there like that to show where the bird can go in and out. Also, it's good to draw a side view as well. So you can give yourself a box for this bit. Useful to put them next to each other because you can transfer lines across. So this point here is going to be about there. Got the middle there. Oh, wait a minute. No, we're doing a side view. Sorry. Wrong. That's wrong. So this edge here will actually just be a line across. And then we've got this bit here. Just a line across that runs across like that. Okay. And then obviously the sides, we'd be looking at the side of the birdhouse from this direction. So perhaps the roof is a little bit larger because it's sloped out that way on the front view. On the side, we won't actually really see any changes apart from just a rectangle. But perhaps the bottom bit of the birdhouse is slightly smaller than the roof. So kind of maybe about like that. Okay, and then you can just rub out bits of the box that you don't need. And then you know everything's kind of in line where you want it to be. Once you've done your 2D drawing, it really helps later on to draw our 3D version. So with this, give yourself some vanishing points. So I'm going to go there and there. And start by drawing a 2-point perspective box. So that gives me one side of the box, the other side of the box, and then we need the top adding on as well. So this side, from here and here, the line at the top goes to that vanishing point. From this corner over here on the top of the box, we're also going over to that side of the vanishing point. And then from this side over here, we're going to go to that vanishing point on the opposite side. Okay, so we've got a cuboid, and now we need to cut into this shape to turn it into that. So we're going to use some reference points to help us. Rub out your construction lines if you want to. So I'm going to imagine this bit is the front. So, okay, so from this direction, we've got our front. And then over here, it's going to be the side. So from the front view, we can see we start at a point at the top. So we can guess where the middle of this is. Or what you can do, if you want to be really accurate, is you can sort of draw a little bit of an X, very faint X through the shape. And that X there marks the middle. Okay, so that's the middle of this box. But if we carry a vertical line straight up to the top, that is the middle of the top line. So it's because it's getting smaller as it's further away, this space here is shorter than this space, but because they're in perspective, this is actually the halfway point. Next, we need to think about these positions here. So we could maybe just kind of mark one on one side and then use the vanishing point on the left just to bring that line over like that. Okay, now where this line is drawn through and it meets the edges of the box, that creates this point to this point, there to there, and that bit to that bit. Okay, so next thing we need to do is think about this point running all the way along the top of the box in the middle. So because that is in the middle and it continues along the side like there, so from that point we need to go across to our vanishing point there and draw that bit in as well. Now I also need to think about this bit continuing up the side of the box. It needs to follow the vanishing point line. So the tip I talked to you about was actually placing the pencil point on your vanishing point and then moving your ruler up against it and then checking that it sits on the other side where you want it on the drawing. So that's a quick tip. Draw that across, and then where this top line finished here, we're then going to go down to where that line finished. Okay. Now what we should probably do is think about the fact that this has got a bit of thickness to it. So we could kind of guess this bit, I suppose. Might be a bit thinner over here, thicker over this side because it's closer towards us. I kind of guess this bit here. It's an irregular angle there. So that's that bit there is that line there. And then because this has a thickness to it and it runs all the way along the side of the edge of the roof there, we need to send it all the way along the edge here. Okay, so that's the roof done. Next, we need to think about the straight lines coming down. Just going to start just slightly inside here, come straight down, and then over here, just come straight down. I'm just going to darken this line here because I'm going to use that. And so from this corner is here. And that's a box and it runs all along the side of the box there. So it's going to go up here, pencil on the vanishing point, ruler to where you want the line to start, and then draw that line up. I've brought things in a little bit smaller on the base from the roof. The roof sits out a bit wider. So what I probably want to do is ignore this line and just put a new line there. Okay, let's do some rubbing. Sometimes it's good to keep some of your construction lines in, but I think it's worth removing them just for this task so you can see what I've done. So it almost looks like a bit of a house. So next thing is to try and get this circle right. Now this is going to be a bit like an ellipse. So what I suggest is think about where that X point was to tell us where the middle of this shape is. Circle's going to be around here. So it'd be good if you do this. So we're going to just make a little kind of perspective square shape that we can draw that circle inside. just to get it accurate, like that. Okay, and then we're gonna just try and draw a circle that meets the outside edges in the middle of each of those 4 lines, like that. And turn your paper to make sure that you can do that comfortably. So now we've got a hole cut there, and just like the roof has a thickness to it, we need to show that this surface kind of has a thickness to it. So you wouldn't be able to see behind these edges, but when it curves around like this, you will see those bits there. Okay, and then maybe you might even want to add in like a little perch for the bird to sit on. So perhaps we could just maybe draw one of those in like this. Okay, there we go. So we've got a simple 2D front and side view of our birdhouse, and then a nice 2-point perspective 3D drawing of it below as well. Next thing to do would be get some fine liner and use that. Most rulers have a sloped edge on one side, normally the side with the numbers, so this is sloped here, and so when you flip it over, you can use the ruler to do your fine liner work. So if you want to keep your lines really nice and straight, flip it over, and then when you move the ruler, it's not touching the pen and it won't smudge the ink. So go around your drawing, tidy it up. This is also the point where you might want to not use a fine liner, and you might want to curve things. So, you know, like at this stage I could have curved that roof a little bit. I could curve corners around a little bit and just round things off with my pencil and then go to the fine liner. It's also very good just for tidying up the bits like this where you've had to just use your eyes to draw them rather than the technique. Perhaps we want to just put some hatching in there to show that that's a dark space. Do cross hatching, go back over it. You might also want to add in some hatching going down the sides here. You don't want to go really too crazy with the hatching. Little details like this, you might want to add those on with a fine liner. You don't have to use a ruler when you're fine lining. Sometimes your work might look a bit more fluid if you don't. Okay. So there's a birdhouse design. Good luck, girls. I'm looking forward to seeing your designs. I suppose one last thing might be to think about, like curving and doing round shapes and stuff. So just think about how I did that shape there. So if you're doing curves, think about your 2-point perspective box. Draw that first and work through it in stages. So mark the middle of the lines, draw some curves meeting the middle of each line, and that will help you draw your cylinder. All right, girls. Bye-bye.